I'm going to record. Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Jackie Guess here, and we are on the System Makers session number 4 today. And so session number 4 is for leaders on how do you make a system for future leaders. We know there's 2 groups that are so critical in your central branch that are must-haves that are so important, and that is your new consultants always having new and serving the new to success, as we focused on Wednesday. The second most important group is future leaders, those willing to work to make money 2 ways. And so again, these are so critical so that we have a structure in place. If you've ever heard the quote, if you build it, they will come. They will. If you don't have a structure, you don't focus on it because you feel scattered, because you don't even know what you would do if it did happen. So structures help you make it happen. So many people wait till they have people. No. And here's the second piece. It's okay if you've been in 20 years and never had a system. Don't beat yourself up. We don't care. The new world is ahead of you, because the only way the first column, when you look at our system grid, in the system grid, literally the first column is you. And the only way success grows in a direct selling business and a multi-level business is when you serve people. The vehicle is your product to serve people, but you are the brand, not Jafra. So as we take a look at everything we do, it's moving people column to column to column. They might start out as a potential lead. They then become a client, maybe a hostess, and I don't mean in this order, maybe a consultant, a new consultant in their first 4 months, and a future leader in those first 4 months. So you'll see as you go across a grid, then they're a leader. Now they're in a new manager column. Then they go to a manager to DM2 column. Then they go to a DM3 to an ambassador column. So the funny thing is, and I'll just share an example. I want to pause because systems are so important, and I don't want it to be overwhelming. Work on one system at a time. Okay? So along the way, you don't stop doing your business to achieve your sales and sponsoring goals, but you have some system time built in your calendar in the wee hours of the morning or the dark hours of the night when you're not out building your business. Do not use prime people communication hours to ever do things like systems. Okay? So because it's the only hours each day that you have to make a difference, to build your volume of what your goals are. So remember, all of this stuff can be backside, not your prime time. So be very protective of your best hours as we look at systems. So if you know you are your best between 9 and 1 or 10 and 2, or your best reachability time for people is from 4:30 to 6, then maximize those hours of people contact, phone calls, phone trees, live videos. The other stuff that you can just email or text later, you do on the later time. So the most important thing is, and I can only relate to this, forgive me if I go 20 years ago, but it's the way that I mastered minutes, because again, you know, I always use the foundation of running $1 million business. And so I knew between 9 and 1, I could master everything for my topic of the day. Monday, consultants; Tuesday, leaders and future leaders; Wednesday, hostesses and parties; Thursday was client service; Friday was follow-up fun day. I didn't have to talk to a lot of people if I didn't need to. So again, then there were key nights. What nights do I host my parties? Monday was always training night. Tuesdays, Thursdays, always party night. Occasional Fridays. Know those green markers. Remember a year ago we did marker coloring? IPA's green were money producing hours, minutes, and time blocks. Yellow was office organization, right? So again, go back thinking that way as you plan your calendar. What nights are really good for my Zoom parties or Zoom meetings? So I love the check-in Friday that Betty just talked about. I think that's awesome. You have to have that color-coded ready to go so that you know and your team starts to know, hey, this is my day. This is my Zoom time. I know she's in her office to serve consultants on Mondays between 9 and 1. Great. I know that every Monday night we have team time. Great. So I can save my questions. I always said, if you need me urgently, fine. These are my office hours. But if you don't need me and you can just do a Q&A list, then bring it to our meeting on Mondays or our Friday check-in, right? So know when your meetings and your parties are. Saturdays are super Saturdays. You can do a lot in a Saturday, right? So look at the days you're willing to work, and it changes every month, and you can move it. But you want some patterns so your team knows your office time, if you can, that you're more readily available for coaching sessions of 15 to 30 minutes, or you're able to fit into that window. If you're available 24/7 as a leader, we might be as a group, but that doesn't mean you are to everyone you serve. No one will ever want to do what you do. I know none of you want to be a regional, so that's a good thing. So I'm just saying, again, as I get in the middle of systems, it really does matter to think strategically. Every business has hours, but do it when you're at your best. If you're like, Jackie, yeah, but my life is always crazy, I get it, but try some structure. Even if it's best time to reach me is, okay? I used to change my voicemail. Most people don't use that anymore, but I used to change my voicemail every Monday with my weekly schedule, okay? So I'm just gonna share overall. I'm going back to the grid and then we're gonna boogie on. All right, so bear with, let me see if I can find this quick. Forgive me if I can't. I have a lot of things I have open. Let me search fast. Business grid, okay. So I'll just give you, for instance, so when you think, oh my gosh, Jackie's calendar looks crazy to look at. The only reason I'm going back a bit, because from last Friday to this Friday, oh my gosh, a whole week has happened and we've done so much on systems. I want you to breathe, but I want you to look at, I do the same thing, even as a regional. Remember expectations and goals, training and coaching, communication, recognition, and when do I do it? My follow-up and when. I have the same types of groups. There's potential consultants and consultants. There's new consultants, potential leaders, new leaders, managers to DM2s, DM3s to ambassadors, and new DDs. I divide my regional service into groups too, just like you. So you don't need to know what all this is, but that's how I create the gaps. Who are we missing? It's why we added a joy meeting every week. It's why, after all these years, I was like, we don't have a place to do future leaders. I was doing it, but I'm like, the training system is working on Mondays. Let's add Tuesdays. And it's rock star, and the leaders doing it are phenomenal. So again, I do the same thing. I'm not here to replace the leader. So it doesn't mean I'm doing all of it. Many of it's leader-led, or I just get in touch with the uplines. I might teach promoting managers how to do new manager orientation. But these are all the different groups that I start with, and I always use the grid I gave you. What tools do I do this with in the fastest way and most productive way, right? So again, I do the same thing And if I have that letter that I'm working with, I get reports, and every report I bring to life. So if I'm working on VIPs, what do I do with that report? How do I give it to the leaders? How do I help them? Okay. If I'm looking at former leaders, okay, which is potential leaders, also includes lost leaders. You can see that in my category. Then I pause and say, great, what day am I doing that this month? And how am I going to do it based on my schedule? I might just do a group phone tree. So I analyze, I serve the same people, but I look at what's my best way to do this. Okay. So I did want to pause there a minute because I do it too. When you run any organization, that's a system of service. Okay. So I'm going to go to future leader. I wanted to pause and come back because we're doing a lot in a month. I told you you're getting a PhD in creating business systems. So I always want to take a little breath and keep going back to your grid. You have a blank one. And are you starting to fill it in a little bit each day? And notice your gaps. And if you should have gaps, I find gaps all the time for myself. And I've been doing this 20 years. So, and I just realized virtually now people need us even more to fill the gaps, right? So let me pause. Any questions on the grid, on the systems, anything going back after a week of going to school, 2 weeks of going to school in a fast way? Any breathing answers you're looking for? Is the grid making more sense? Okay. For you,
Yes.
and I thank you, sorry. So you can put in there, what does Jafra have? What does the region have? And what's you might just be following up because Jafra has it or the region has it. So you don't have to duplicate. You just have to know, okay, training is on Tuesday for future leaders. I must have follow-up on Wednesday. Even if you don't have someone attending, plan to do that because if you build it, people will come, right? So I'm going to take you to future leaders today. So again, I don't want to define what a future leader is. Last year, we did that. We said when they get to 2 sponsors, they're a future leader. I'm going to tell you, I don't want to put a denominator to it. That's up to you if you choose to. All I look at a future leader in this world today is someone who wants and is willing to work to building income 2 ways. Building a team of 4 or more and building a client business. So that's the 2 ways to those paydays. If that's them, which I am going to work with every new consultant as we said on Tuesday or on Wednesday, every new consultant is a potential leader. My role as her leader is to make sure that she literally earns money both ways by the end of 4 months. That's my commitment to her. Okay. So I just act as if she wants it. I say it as if she wants it. And if she gets the end of four months or 4 weeks and she doesn't want it, that's okay. But I'm going to set her up to earn everything, every prize and every income potential. So 4 weeks of training, 4 weeks of coaching. We'll analyze how her 4 weeks go. I would love to keep coaching her every single week. On my Tuesdays, I'm going to just say it's noon. Follow up from Monday night training with everybody who attends Monday night and my new. And I will have that available for their first 4 months, every Tuesday at noon. This is just a mock-up. They, again, have Tuesday night training. Tuesday night training is set up 4 weeks to leadership. Our intention of it is for them to promote in 4 weeks. We're not a punisher if they don't. The follow-up is you, not us. We're just the trainers. We just provide the best content we know and have for them to qualify in 4 weeks. So you bring that to life. It's called 4 weeks to launch and 4 weeks to leadership. Our workbooks and everything we make is about doing it in 4 weeks. And each week is mentally structured by training to first learn why, then learn how and what to say. And we literally structured it to make sure they achieve it by the end of the month. They have a workbook. There's even an invitation with a QR code video by me inviting them to be a leader. And I can't email them. Okay, I don't get to email them. I don't have a list of them. This is now you taking them to the units, you downloading the workbook and using it, you using the invitation that's been there. You invite them attending on Tuesdays, you follow up on Wednesdays, and you have coaching every Wednesday after the training. That would be my best recommendation. They typically attend 4 times, and you can graduate them. Can they go back? Of course. I don't want to be ruly, but you know how I say, is that important to use 4 more hours to redo, or can they watch the recording and just keep coaching with you? It's up to them. It's up to you. So again, I just always say, is that 4 hours worth it? Or do we do the recordings, which are 2 hours total, for you to just update, or can we just keep coaching every Wednesday? So if a new consultant is going to new consultant training and future leader training, she coaches mainly on Tuesdays. Okay. So if she wants to go Wednesday as well, great. If she has to choose, I would stick to at least the Tuesday group. And then the next month, go to the Wednesday coaching group if she hasn't qualified. We are finding in the last year, and this is Amber Region stats only, that most of the brand first-time new leaders are qualifying within their first 4 to 8 weeks, like Jasmine. Okay, I think I have a Nicole here too. Okay, very fast promotions, because starting with 4 can happen at one party. Okay, so that's great. They make 11% during that time that they qualify. Okay, whether they're coming back or their first time new, everybody earns 11% now, in case you forget that, because programs have changed a million times. They're always earning 11% during qualifications. The new manager bonus is only if they've never been a manager. There's not like, yeah, but that was in the 90s, or that was in 2010. Don't they have so many years since that goes away? That doesn't exist. This is one time only. If we have the records back to, I think we go back to 1999 was the last time our computer has records. If they were a manager before, they can't re-earn that bonus. If they lost their previous kit number and they rejoined with a new case number, then they're a new manager again. So there's a little gap you may forget about, okay? So again, really, really important. So as you look at future leaders, again, your coaching is critical, and you inviting them. So the before, the during, and the after matters. You want to know what happens the 4 weeks in the slides. Again, I highly recommend in your big tabbed A through Z People I Serve notebook, in your future manager group, having your A to Z, make sure that, again, your front page is listing the future managers you're working with and their goal dates, their team name, when you want to hold their twig meeting, and their branch celebration. Old is new. I love calling it a twig meeting. When do they want? Get them ready before. We can't do that for you. Have them take a new manager picture. Have them name their team. Have them see themselves, again, knowing when they're going to promote. And let's do a team goal time. I know, I don't think Hannah's here, but I know Hannah started doing this in her system. It was a gap she had. They would just promote really quick and there was no structure. So instead, she started doing that kind of twig celebration, even if they just had 2 or 3 consultants. Her and the manager came on a Zoom and said, Okay, we're excited. Ashley is announcing she wants to be your manager, and it takes a team. So we're excited to announce she's going to qualify to manager next month. This is going to be her team name. This is what it takes to qualify. And this is her story why she wants to be your leader. And she let it happen as a team. In the past, sorry, Hannah, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I see this all the time, by the way. In the past, it was a quick promotion, right? And it wasn't a team effort. Well, Ashley's team this time was like, oh my God, yes, we're so excited. This is our team goals. We're in all the way for the month of May. So last night they did a team party, a Facebook party, and a live event with consultants and guests coming. So they made a plan how they're going to promote together. They each made their goals. They shared how they're going to support the team goal. And Ashley is leading before she's a leader. That isn't always a perfect storm, but you want a system that looks like that if you can make it happen like that. And not always can that happen. But act as if it could. What would be ideal? How many of you remember all of these steps promoting branches? Twig meetings, branch names, a leader picture. Remember all those things? So that's how you create the team, right? A team is a we. So I wanted to do a little prelude about that. So again, when she takes her best picture, when you do your newsletter, boom, there she is on the front page. They did it, not Ashley did it. Team pride is huge. Look at all of the district directors and the pride you've seen in all of our leader meetings and regional meetings of their team being so proud out loud, right? Then there's a branch celebration after. So after it's done, in a room or on Zoom, and really most people are sponsoring across the world, so you're probably going to have it in Zoom. You do the branch celebration. Maybe it's at your monthly team meeting and you launch it together and the leader gets to share, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, la, 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 la. Because again, it's your central branch. That's why we call it twig. You're almost there. And then you do the branch celebrations, right? And you get to celebrate all the consultants and their success. She gets to brag on her team. Again, they get to meet the consultants just like you met some of the leaders in the new districts. So it's that concept of team celebration. I know I saw, and some of you might be friends, I saw Cherie and Lisa. They did a really cool picture, right? So they put their picture, the district, their name, and they had pictures of all their direct leaders. So their 5 new leaders. It was beautiful. Just like Lori did that picture of our new directors. That's, again, getting ready to be able to celebrate after, okay? The second most important piece after you qualify someone is hosting new manager orientation. Okay, so I'm going to be honest, I used to do it with the new and promoting manager. I tried it for a couple of years and I really had very low attendance. I don't know what that answer was. So again, I'm just going to show a couple of systems to you that we have in the region and that I do. I'm not here to do orientation for a leader. I love a leader doing that. So I'm even redoing my systems right now, and I'm going to do a mini welcome new leader video, just like I do welcome new consultant video, which I made that yesterday. So I'm going to have a better structure with a checklist of what to do in new manager orientation, just like new consultant orientation in our workbook. So I will actually do that. I believe that leader needs to do that with her team. And I'm always here to guide and help, but I don't want to be the leader. Okay. The only time I really feel my role in orientation is for new district directors. which I just did with all of our new district directors. However, if a leader needs to learn how, I'm always a teacher. Okay. I believe leader-led is key, but I also love a plug-in system of training that can happen from Jaffra and the region, but you get to be that coach follow-up because the coaching is the magic. It's not the training. No training ever made somebody successful. It was the coaching and follow-up. Okay. That accountability, that believing in them and sticking with them till they're there. A new manager really truly needs at least 2 months of new manager onboarding every single week, where you teach them systems. You know the grid. When you have your grid, they just make their grid and you either work together or they duplicate what you do with their team. I love a leader who has her own branch newsletter. So I don't want to do it for a leader. She's a leader. So I teach her how to train, coach, communicate, and recognize. Okay. So a little bit of the before and a little bit of the after is so important. Okay. I'm going to go into units and show you what is there for future leaders. But I do want to pause because I want it to be a big overall story vision first. And I'm going to summarize your time that we learned from Dana and Neil Phillips. And I love how to manage time with consultants and future leaders. I'm going to do that before I go to units, but I want to pause for you. Thoughts, comments, questions. Maybe this is dinging back some old ideas, right? So anybody have any thoughts, comments, or questions?
I think I won. I just remember.
Go ahead, Shafika. And then I'll go to
okay, I just think I remember the twig meeting. Okay, I just bringing me back as far as to the twig meetings we used to have, and you know, it was just it was just great to prepare leaders for that. And when you just said doing it before she promotes versus as far as versus after everything is over, it does from how you just explained it, and just writing it out, doing it once she has just a 2 or 3 people sponsored here, and just having that twig meeting. And I just thought of all the things that you were saying, and just while you're on that Zoom meeting, having that pre-leader tell what she loves about each individual person, and why and why they make up her team, also too, and everything. I think that'll be good as well.
Love that. And then when they become a new manager, you're doing that about her when you welcome her to the district, right? So I love that. You've seen me do that on some Zoom things, right? Recently, going to each square and saying something about each person. That again, you said it beautifully, team spirit. But even before, and sometimes again, it happens so fast you miss it. It's okay. Do it the next month after it happens. There's no right and wrong in this new way, because in our day it was 10 or 12 consultants, right? So now 4 can happen, like I said, in a day on a Zoom party. So we saw Jackie Elves and Hannah Wachter constantly showing that at one party they're promoting a manager. And guess what? We did in our time too. Even 10. I'll never forget one party. I had 10 sponsors and I promoted a branch at a party. So it happened then. So again, there was a structure, and sometimes you can't control the structure. But when you have it, it's okay if you skip a step for the fast ones. But it's all about that vision of it and the joy. It feels right. It feels good, and it feels like we're creating that wonderful team spirit, which is what a team is about, not accidental. But we will have accidental, and that's okay too. So go ahead, Sandra. Thank you, Shafika. Go ahead, Sandra.
All of this is really fantastic. I loved really putting more into the conversation 2 ways to payday. Because I think I tell them that at the beginning, and then I never really go back to it again. And they completely forget, well, you know what? There are 2 ways. I mean, almost everyone needs money, extra income right now, you know. I love that. And then I'm excited that you're going to make the welcome new leader video. Oh, well, you already did. I'll be excited to get that checklist to kind of know then how to, you know, to kind of go through that stuff with them and help them through that. That will help me help them as well.
Excellent. Cool. Okay. One more comment?
So
Go ahead, Ellen.
all right. Something that we did before when we could have meetings at our homes or whatever is I had stakes, and we had a sign on each stake. Every person who was in that new branch, their name was on a poster board on a stake. And as they walked up, it was recognition for each one of them. And then they all wanted their posters to take home with them. It was exciting. It was fun. Okay. So I think one of the big parts is to make it fun.
Yes. And it's team, and it's each person matters, like Shafika started with. So think of this in the new world, because we may not be in homes. And again, you're building all over Facebook now, right? So you're all over the US. Very few are sitting in your backyard anymore. So just on Zoom, remember I had a backdrop that said, happy birthday, Hudith, right? So when it was her birthday and we all said happy birthday to her, and I sent her a WhatsApp video. So you can remember Canva, okay? You go into Canva. When I did my Wednesday and Friday, I just do a quick invite on Canva, okay? And you can upload pictures there. It's free. So when I do the cover screens sometimes for my YouTube, so I'll show you Canva again, you can actually make those poster boards and put the manager's name and face in the middle, and you can put all the consultants' pictures. The good news is you don't need a picture. You can stalk everybody on Facebook and cut and paste a picture, man. I got everybody all the time, not because I said, could you email me your picture? So I don't have to. This is like super cool. So you can make their board. And so when you come on Zoom, you share their screen. So we can't have signs in our yard, but we can have their picture on our screen or as our backdrop. So I know when I do happy hour every 2 weeks with my college friends, so I find old pictures of us from college to, we had a 50-year reunion, meaning when we turned 50. And so I always have our old pictures on my virtual background, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's so fun. So you can do that. Look at the idea Jafra did for Mother's Day. Pick a characteristic, or have that leader pick a word about that person and put that word next to their name, that quality that Shafika talked about. So, and take that idea. This is where it's about fun. Remember the old days we would buy name tags and it said manager, and they're like, oh, that. And there was certificates. Do that. Old is new. Right? Jeffrey's never going to be able to do everything. They do a manager pin and a welcome packet in the mail. So let me just finish this, and I'm going to go to units. In the after, so just so you know, I do a 1-minute video. I love it. Look at Diana doing her pictures back there, okay? So I do a 1-minute video to welcome them. I don't do it till I get the report. I do a 1-minute video and welcome them to manager. I then have them add them to the regional WhatsApp group all at one time. And so then they come in there, and then I say, welcome to all of our new managers. Their name is also in the newsletter, okay? So I have a process of inviting them and welcoming them, okay? They also have a Facebook Live, so their name is heard. They like to be heard and seen, and they should. Any first time, anything is always super cool. From your consultants, I know Shafika, when she does recorded calls to her branch, even does some of her recognition in her recorded calls. Let's welcome our new consultants. When they hear their name, there's something about it, right? Pictures, names. Their team name has pride. Jasmine is Opal because she's aligning to her district, right? Their other stones or gems. So again, keeping that and knowing her why. I love nothing better. If you want a trip to Italy, I'll send you a cork from my wine bottle and say, you're one step closer to going to Italy. In your A to Z file, always know their why and keep their dreams alive. Okay? Do that with your future leaders and leaders. Okay? So, again, taking the compensation plan guide when they become a leader and showing them, turning the pages so they understand direct and indirect. They understand the pin they're going to get. What is maintenance? What is qualifying? What is the new manager bonus? They get that by hitting maintenance in month 1 and month 2. Just maintenance. 4 ordering consultants, 2,400 team paid, and their 300 personal retail. So $100, $100. The goal of a manager is at the end of her first 90 days, she moves up to DM1. Okay? A manager never arrives. She knows you can't ever go below 2 personal QNCs a month or you're at risk. She leads by example, and she teaches the 2 ways to payday. So again, you must have expectations of future leaders to know that we're going to work on your new manager bonus first, and then we're going to work together those first 90 days, kind of similar to a new consultant, right? Their first 90 days after they join, so that you move to DM1, because duplication is what D stands for in district manager. So that again, she's looking for her leader to do what she just did. As long as they plug into Monday and Tuesday night, we're focused on 2 ways to paydays. So who already in your first 4 has the potential? If not, let's look for them as you keep adding the next 4 and the next 4. The proof is this: it takes 12 consultants in a branch to have them not stress about maintenance. That's a fact, and you need to be smart about saying that. For every 20, they should be promoting a group. Okay? When they're focused on 2 ways to earn their income, 11 to 18%, 30 to 50%. Okay? So come in with boldness before they're even a leader, just like we talked about before they're even a consultant. You have expectations. Here's the best part. I'm going to work alongside you each week. I'm going to help you and coach you. You're going to go to Tuesday night training. We're going to coach every Wednesday, and we're going to work with your workbook, and we're going to host meetings with your team before, during, and after. So again, the goal that we work with consultants as they grow to leadership is time management. It's always the hardest. They do not arrive. There's 8 steps in our career plan. Your goal, more money. They get $200 as a new manager. When they promote a new group, they get $200 for every new group they promote. Okay? And we focus them on the quarterly bonus. The most important focus is having consultants join with a buddy. So that key is also getting the bonus. So they get their $200 bonus for manager, but then they get $200 for a new group. And the first time they're at DM1, they get $200. Okay? If they're adding 2 new consultants every month to their team, and they're adding 3 indirects every month to their team, which is the quarterly bonus, they add 15 new consultants every quarter, they'll promote a branch every quarter. Okay?
Say that one more time.
So your quarterly bonus is 2 personal every month,
Quarterly.
3
Okay.
indirect every month
Yeah.
for $500. That should be
Right.
your number one priority as a leader to learn to do,
Right. Yeah.
because you won't move up in a comp plan without that as your number one priority. So you
Right.
start a new manager with that as the end all be all.
Mm-hmm.
Because with 15 new consultants every quarter, you'll promote a branch every 3 to 4 months. That's just facts. 1 in 20 will promote.
Okay.
And that's low facts. When you're good, you're starting to see what Lisa and Cherie did. Jackie and Norma, they're promoting branches every month. That happens when you get the systems and the momentum and you know what you're doing. Jackie Elves always says, Jackie, promoting branches now is like sponsoring used to feel. That's what happens. It's the truth. And you'll start to just do it in your sleep because you've got structure, system, and you believe it, and you can help them do the same. Now multiplication explodes. So the quarterly bonus is really critical to really, again, when you're talking to a future leader, showing them the bonuses. It's not just get to manager, but there's 5 monthly bonuses. There's 3 car programs. There's life insurance. There's more travel internationally. So leaders have perks of personal training, personal coaching and development, and that's where everything begins. We start with 4 and then we duplicate. When you go to the the future leader training, my favorite thing from Neil and Dana Phillips was the buckets of time. 20 hours a week is a typical business worker. Okay. If they only have 10, cut it in half. It's okay. If they only have 6, cut it down. We want to know how many hours they're willing to work, when and where in their calendar can they fit it in, and let's focus on the IPAs. So there's 3 buckets. If I had 20 hours, and this is even all the way to probably almost DM3 on how to work smart with 20 hours. After that, you might take more hours. But the first bucket is personal business. The second bucket is sponsoring. And the third bucket is leaders. How many hours is the personal business?
10 hours.
10 hours. And in the future manager training, we really say, what is 10 hours doing? Okay. We tell you exactly how to spend the 10 hours. That's serving clients, looking for leads, right? The second bucket is sponsoring. How many hours a week is that for a leader?
6.
Perfect. What does that mean? Sponsoring yourself and working with your new sponsors. The third way to grow your business in this kind of a business is leaders. So 10 plus 6, how many hours are left? 4. 4 hours a week is working with future leaders, looking for new future leaders every week. Whether they're in Jafra or not, you have the qualities of a leader that I love. You'd be great at this because OCI, observe, connect, and invite them to attend something like a joy meeting, the leader training. All right. 4 hours a week, working with future leaders, looking for new future leaders, and then developing those new leaders. There's always another bucket when you're working with a district. Okay. So as you coach your manager and you know, or even future manager, she only has 10 hours a week. Great, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Let's map these buckets out because she's also looking for her next leader too. And so if things aren't happening, we analyze her hours and say, okay, let's look at your schedule last week. What did you do with your hours? Where was your gap? This is how you build in a multi-level direct selling business. There's 3 buckets. She'll do less in the future leader bucket, but you don't remove the bucket. She just knows she's looking for a leader because she's going to have $200 new manager bonus, $200 new group bonus, $200 DM1 bonus. That's what we're going to focus on in her first 3 to 4 months as a new manager, just like a new consultant does. $400 a month, 4 weeks in a row of coaching and training the first month, and having 4 to her team as a minimum her first 4 months. Same thing. It just changes to leadership. If I don't have an end result and talk about it before, I'm just going to have someone who's sponsoring and doesn't understand what manager is. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to move forward to units because we're in our last segment here, so you know what's there. Questions on anything? Comments on anything? Last chance. Okay, here we go. Let's go to units. All right, let me close all the things I have open. Okay, we're going to go to our units here in Facebook. Let me minimize this out of the way so we can see. Okay, so as we pop into Facebook and we head into units, as you scroll through units, you will see, again, if their gap is, I can't sponsor, I'm stuck. You have beautiful trainings. You don't always have to be the teacher. Send them to school. Great. Why don't you go to Be Beautiful and go to the training module about sponsoring? Why don't you go into units? Let's go in there right now and let's find a topic that would help you learn how to sponsor. What do you think is your gap? So it's just finding their gap, right? So you can use all of the units. Make sure you know every unit. In here, you have the 4 weeks to launch and 4 weeks to leadership. So inside the 4 weeks to leadership, what do you have? I'm going to start at the bottom, okay? You have, in 4 weeks to leadership, you have all of the PDFs, the slides, okay? And you have a workbook. So your workbook, I'll go through that with you in a minute, is there. You have all of the trainers and the titles of the week. The trainer extraordinaire. You have an invitation, okay? And I'll come back to just feature a couple of things. You have all of the recordings, okay? Each week, there's our beautiful Gail and Vicky. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, okay? There's Shafika and Marie. So they're all there for you, okay? So as I go through this, what I want you to see is a couple of tools to help you. Bear with me here. Get through all of the weeks. Week 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So in the, here it is, in the invite, I'm going to download it like it's new again, just so I don't have to go search my computer. So when you download that and you open it, this is, let me open the right thing for you in case you're not seeing the right one. This is your invitation, okay? So it's here, and this one, I have one with the QR code. I've got 2 of them, but this is our basic one we made quickly when we were doing this in March. I'm updating this, so trust me, I'm redoing this system, but you can edit it too. It's a document, so you can take it out and edit it yourself, enable the editing.
Jackie, can I ask about that? Because that yesterday I was in some of these,
Mhm.
and do we go to enable and we won't mess up the one that's in there?
No, you're downloading it to your computer.
So you download it first,
Mhm.
save it to your computer, then go in there and edit it.
Yep, you got it. Yeah, I did it in doc form so you could put your own info in there. So now I can go in and I can type April, sorry, what are we in, May? I can go in and I can put my info down at the bottom with my text and my website. So we've got a couple models in there for you. One's a QR code. One is just a blanket invitation like this. But it has a live link that they can go right to Zoom on. Okay, so, but I haven't updated this, and I'll tell you it's because Jaffa was creating so many things for the Hispanic market, and I didn't know when English was coming. So it's okay. I'm just going to go update it. So my goal is to have all this updated, but you can make your own too. I'm just giving you a model. You don't have to use mine, but it's just that you have that tool. Okay. The next thing that you have as a tool in there, let me get back to units here. Units. Okay, bear with me. In the units, the next thing that you have is the workbook. This is also going under a little overhaul because we've been trying to update everything in the new world for you. Even if it's outdated, we don't care. It's not the end of the world. But we even have 4 weeks to leadership workbook. Tells them what's happening in the 4 weeks, where to go, and look at, here's your action step. Book your twig meeting. Huh, how funny, I already said that. Make your invite list. Set up your Facebook team group. Set up 15 to 20 minutes every week to coach with me. Again, use your workbook when you're coaching. Check your team progress. We even show them how to look at reports. You have to do that before, not just after. Set up your team challenges or celebrations after as well. Get your picture taken. Be on Zoom every Tuesday, camera on and microphone on. Here's some suggestions, blah, 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 okay? So everything is here to tell them how to get ready before, during, and after. Guess what? Everything I talked about, we put in picture form for you. And we talk about the commission, the jewelry. Lori and I summarized on this sheet that there's really 4 titles, but some of them have 3 levels like DM, DD. So not that she's going to learn this, but a lot of your new manager orientation, guess what? It's in this workbook. And what do you do every week when you coach? Same worksheets as the new consultant. Coaching doesn't change. What worked last week? What challenges? What went well? What do you got to do different? Where's your gap? What do you plan for next week? What trainings do you need to get better at? What do you need to break down each day so you're using your buckets wisely? What are your overall goals? We track them on our coaching call. She comes with her numbers so we know what we're doing personal and team. So again, that's your workbook. We actually show them how to look at their report. They would be doing this before they qualify, so when they become a manager, they know how to use their reports. Look at here, column 2, showing them direct and indirect. We also, guess what we put in here for you? 20 hours. Everything I told you is organized already. How to plan their IPAs. These are the only ways we make money. The green in their calendar must align. If you want recognition, you can do IPA weekly reports with recognition or points, bonuses, tickets, whatever you want. So 5 points, 10 points, 15 points. You're setting them up how fast they want to grow. Then we go back to OCI, making their list, planning when to call, and where they're going to invite them in the next 2 to 3 days. We even put success qualities in the workbook. Who do you know? What qualities do you want for your team, in your team, and who do you know? Who are you noticing on Facebook? The memory jogger. Again, oh my gosh, let's go back. You know more people than you're saying, or maybe they're connected to people. And then, how do they do a sponsoring interview? This we may take out because you have the virtual conversation. So again, I knew Jaffer was making more tools, so I didn't want to quickly race to update. So now you've got that guide and the new consultant guide. And we go back to numbers. For every 4 people you invite, you'll get 1 interview. Every 4 you invite, you'll probably get 1 interview. And out of every interview, You will see out of 3 interviews, 1 says yes. It basically means almost 1 in 10 say yes. What's your best tracking and recognition as well? Conversations. Write 3 a day, 3 a day. Start with begin a business, settle for book a party, end with okay, you'll buy. And again, reminding them, how are they talking about these packs as they're sponsoring? How do they track Welcome to Jafra VIP with their team? Creating winners. And the magic sheet I love, how are they organizing their time? Let's plan it. And let's get a to-do list for the day or week. Because they're always working with the Future Leader Bucket, working with 2 new team members, sponsoring, working with their team, building their sales, and they have to have balance with their family. And I help make sure I understand the income they want and the time they're willing to work. And again, it's just all the tools and links and the training for them and their team. Remember the old star chart? I love it. This, again, is how many consultants they have. Let's get to the first 4, and let's keep going and keep building to at least your first 15, which is the quarterly bonus. Very intentional. And they'll use it as a manager, and this will become 15 leaders, and they earn a Mercedes-Benz as an ambassador. So all the training each week aligns to the workbook. That's new manager orientation before, during, and after. So it's all already done for you. So any ahas of how simple it's already organized? Did you all know it was all there? Cool. So look at your gaps that you might be missing. Do you have time every week to look for a new leader? Do you look at your report every week and say, she'd be a great leader because? Thank you, Nicole. I love to hear that everything is easier. That makes my heart happy. Trust me, that's why we do this for you. It's together, and it's everybody's ideas. We just put it together.
Hey, Jackie.
So, yes.
I just want to say thank you because it's like you just, all this whole thing triggered my mind, and I'm going to be promoting some more managers. Just wanted
It's
you to know.
old school. It's everything
you.
we did, all organized.
But finding you're just reminding us all that information that's there. You know, I mean, right now I'm writing personal letters to the VIP winners that I have and the pre-VIPs, and I'm giving them an invitation to go to join. You know, I use my whole bank analogy, and like you say, they're leaving money on the table. Every single person that's a VIP member is leaving money on the table. They're not putting their, you know, they're not making the most of their revenues. So I just, you know, anyways, thank you for today. I know that I'm not on a lot. I'm listening, but I know that I'm not on and as involved as everybody. But I wish all of you could have my income, and I wish all of you could have my lineage, because I have an amazing group. So wish I could share it with you, but I can't.
You share your wisdom.
We
We
wish
appreciate
too,
it.
Vicki.
So
Yes.
I want to hit something Vicki said. I love what she's saying. There's something I still believe in. I know I've said it on one of the calls, but this is the topic and where it lands. When you're looking at sponsoring, why is it important to have your clients' orders very organized? Because she's leaving money on the table. So to say to her, I love play money, I love dollar stores. If I can buy volume play money, buy it. I got buckets of it in my closet. Why? Number one, if I have a client and I have all her client orders organized, okay, in Excel or in a folder, I don't care how you do things. I can quickly go as I'm doing my calls. Oh my gosh, Deland, you have spent $150 on Jafra. I love you for it. I thank you. I love serving you. I love you as my client. But I want you to know, you've left $75 on the table, right? So you could open up your account and you could have had $300 of products at that price. Have you ever thought about having your own Jafra store and being able to even share in profit? With today's world, the way people shop, it's 10 times easier than when I began. So I just want to put that out there. You could put that play money in the mail. I thought of you today because as you look at your consultants like Vicki, she's really paying attention to VIPs and doing that VIP system. Oh my gosh, if they're doing that's a $5,000 a year consultant. She's leaving 11% on the table on herself. That's 2,500 wholesale times 11%. Okay? That's over $300 a year she's leaving on the table by not building a team just on her own sales. Put that in an envelope and say, have you thought about 2 ways to income instead? And do a seed plant, right? So every week you're looking for new consultants, new leaders. So thank you, Vicki, because I can tell you between 9 and 1 o'clock every day was priority phone time. Then it was lunch and kids, and my babies went down for a nap, or they were at school when they got older. And from 2 to 3, because I love General Hospital, I'm just telling you my truth, and I had to watch General Hospital, so I did. And so I was a soap opera because I was raised by my grandma daycare, and we had to watch all my children, One Life to Live in General Hospital. I did my college courses around it. Here's my real me.
Yes.
So guess what? During that time, I didn't do a lot of brain work. I still did it, 20 years building my district. But you know what? I did cards. So I still had my TV show. It was my downtime. No, you're not talking to me. And Channel 5 was on, and I would do my cards, and I had my cards and my play money in a bucket every single either day or every single 1 day a week, whatever my calendar was for that moment. And that was literally every week. You know, I write 1 million cards. I just put 10 in the mail today because it's still a magical touch. And play money has a funny thing to it, or at least get the confetti that's dollar signs. They're like, gosh, dang it, I hate when confetti falls out, but it's dollar signs falling money. Just saying. Have fun. This is the fun of what we do. All right, I'm done with training. Our hour is here, but I'm here with questions
Jackie?
and follow-up. Yes, Vicki.
Jackie, Play Money is on Amazon, so you don't even have to leave the house. Just get your Play Money. You can get it on Amazon.
Okay, love it. Thank you. Okay, and yet, Katia, you had your hand up. Katia, go for it.
Hi, yes, I wanted to. I know that you have structures for everything. I know there was a workbook out there, and I'm like thinking I have to go print eventually, but I did not realize that the 4 weeks to leadership was Tuesdays. In my mind, I thought the Monday and Tuesdays were both for new consultants.
Ding,
So
ding, ding.
it was like,
Life
what?
just changed. That's awesome.
I'm
And the
like,
best
oh
part,
my God.
right? The best part is no matter who you are, if you're stuck in sponsoring, go Tuesday night. It's made to help you build a team in 4 weeks. So I love that. So I don't care if it's a little aha like that. So funny what we sometimes don't know. It's the purpose of why this month is getting a PhD in what's out there. And you're just that system, purpose. You're the most important, but we've got a structure so well in place, it's crazy, right? So thank you. I love that. Thank you for telling me that. Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Thank you.
Becky, are sponsoring and hostess packets, are there ideas about that in units?
Yeah, so if you go into, there's a sponsoring unit, there's a party unit and a PIP unit, peanut purple. You can click through there. We've used some different people's examples.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions, comments before we go? Carol.
I constantly remind consultants they get like a $280 order in a month when we can get 50%. And some of them go, no, I really don't need anything else. And I give them the math. I show them that. I put that in emails and They just, I don't need anything else. Thank you very much. It's like butting against the wall. But I love the units. And the one thing I cannot find, and I send people the recordings because a lot of my consultants can't get on the live things because they work constantly. I have people that work 2 and 3 jobs, seriously. So they don't even have time to sit down and take in what Jafra can do for them because they're working these stupid jobs making maybe $12 more an hour. You know, so to get them to sit down and focus is hard. But here's the thing is I can't find the slides for the Joy because they're not on the virtual training. I went to the virtual training and I can't find them there. So they've got to be on units. So I don't know where they are on units. I've looked.
I didn't upload them because Jafra uploaded them this week. I sent a picture of where they are, so I'll go back and repost that. Okay.
I know where they are. I
never
can tell
saw
you
that.
right now where they
Oh,
are.
dear. Thank you.
They are, you would think they'd be under virtual sponsoring, but they're not. They're under monthly updates. And I think what they're doing is anything new that they post, they put it under monthly updates. So we're in the same section that the catalogs are in. And that's where you can find them. Nice
Thank you so
PowerPoint.
much.
Is it Key Tools monthly update?
No,
Key
I'm talking about the
Tools?
Virtual Business Hub on
Virtual Business Hub. Okay,
where
at
all
the
our new
beginning
stuff is.
under my business.
That doesn't
Okay.
make sense. That doesn't, because that means they're going
It's
to go.
okay. I'll give that feedback to Melissa. It's a good point. Good point.
That's where it is.
Okay, ladies, speaking of, I've got a meeting with Melissa. I've got to go. So thank you. I hope today helped you see that finding future leaders, promoting new leaders is teamwork, and it's all sitting there for you. So look at your buckets of time. Thank you for being here and a great week on New Consultants, Future Leaders, the 2 most important systems of people you serve to help them serve their own dreams. So thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.